All right, so this is our last section, is scientific notation. And when we're working with scientific notation, well, we're going to make large numbers in a shortened way or very small numbers in a shortened way. So we're going to make them basically working with shorthand. So it's a way to write very large or small numbers in a shortened way, as to not miss a place value, aka zeros. So basically we're going to be writing, little note here, we're going to write a number between 1 and 10 times 10 to a power. Now a little side note over here, basically we're going to have one non-zero digit in front of the decimal. So for instance, this first one, I have a minimum distance from the Earth to Mars is approximately this far. Well, this is a large number, okay? It's bigger than 10, right? So I'm going to say 2.84 times 10, and this is where I have to actually work with what is that power going to be. Well, I'm going to move my decimal. Currently it's at the end. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. It is a big number, so it's going to be to the 5th power. So big numbers, positive exponents. Okay, the next one, this is a small number, so we're going to make the small number in scientific notation. Again, we need one non-zero digit in front of the decimal, so it's going to be 2.68 times 10, and we're going to count the decimals. We're going to actually do the loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops. So to the negative 6, because it's small, so it's a negative exponent. Small number, negative exponent. So the next two I've got here, the number is 16 million, which is 1600000 right here. I'm going to put it into scientific notation. So I need one non-zero digit, so 1.6 times 10, and we're going to count our zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so too big, so it's positive exponent. The next one is a small number, okay, because it's less than 1. So I'm going to say, move your decimal 2 places, so it's going to be 2 times 10 to the small, so it's going to be negative 2 spaces, negative exponent. So these I want you to try on your own. This one's going to be 7, oops, 7.5 times 10, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is going to be a negative exponent, so it's 8.52 times 10 to the negative 1, 2, 3. 208 is bigger than the 10, so it's going to be 2.08, one non-zero digit in front of the decimal, times 10 to the 1, 2. 907, so put it right here, so 9.07 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.4, so it's 4 point times 10 to the negative 2. And this is going to be 6.1 times 10, and now count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots, and it's too small, so it's negative 7. All right, so the next part, we're going to do multiplication and division. But before we do that, let's put these in standard form. So this is a big number, has a positive exponent. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fill in with zeros. So 3, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. The next one is a small number by 5 spaces, so 1. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill in with the zeros. So it's 0.19097. Okay, these again, I want you to try on your own. So pause me, try them, and then come back to me. Okay, this is going to be move my decimal 2 places, so 5, 4. This is small by 2, so 1, 2, so it's 0.067. This one's bigger by 3, 1, 2, 3, fill it in, 1, 1, 4, 0. Big by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fill in with zeros. So 9, 1, 1. Put a comma there. This one's small by 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, fill in with zeros. And the last one, smaller by 1, so move your decimal, 0.38. 0.38. Now we're going to do some computing. So what we're going to do when we're computing in scientific notation, the basic ones, the most that you're going to end up doing for the most part are going to be multiply and divide. There are a couple things on your delta to have you do some adding and subtracting. Definitely watch the tutorial, or you can put them into standard form and subtract and add, or you can make sure they both have the exact same exponents. So this guy, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply or divide the numbers. Then you're going to add the exponents. Move all powers of 10 up top. And then make sure the answer is inside of notation. Okay, so these down here, I'm going to take the 5.6 times the 1.4. 5.6 times 1.4 is 7.84. And we're going to go times 10 to the, there's -4 and -5 is -9. The next one, I'm going to cube both of those, right? So it's going to be 3.2 to the 3rd power. And then it's going to be times 10 to the 6th power. That gives me 32.768 times 10 to the 6th power. But I'm not finished because this is not in scientific notation. So what I have to do is I need to change it. I need to move 2 big by 1 spot. So I'm going to add 1 here. So it's going to be 3.2768 times 10 to the 7th. This one I'm going to take 3.4 times 8.5, and I get 28.9 times 10 to the -2, and 6 is 4. But it's too big by 1 place, so I'm going to move it 1 more, plus 1. So it's 2.89 times 10 to the 5th. D, I'm going to take 1.64 times 3.5, and I get 5.74 times 10 to the, add those exponents, and I get to the 3rd power. These bottom ones, we're actually going to do the same idea. We're going to actually divide the numbers. And so 3.5 divided by 1.75 is 2. So that gives me 2 times 10. Bring this up. Always bring up your exponents to the top. So it's going to be 10 to the 5th up top. And it becomes 10 to the 2. Then I have 6.4 divided by 1.6. That gives me 4. times 10, go ahead and bring that up. So it's 10 to the 10th up top. And now I've got negative 4 and 10 is 6. 4.5 divided by 1.8 gives me 2.5 times 10 to the, bring this to the top. So it's going to be 10 to the 7th. That gives me 3 and 7 is 10. 2.1, excuse me, over 2.8 gives me 0.75 times 10 to the, bring that up, and it becomes 10 to the negative 3. So that actually is 10 to the 4th. That is not in scientific notation, so I need to move it one more. It's too big by one spot. Actually, it's small, excuse me. Too small by one spot. I have to move it one more spot that way, 0.75. So 7.5, too small by one spot, so 10 to the 3rd. This next one, I'm going to square it. This is to the first power, so we're going to square it and square. So it ends up being 2.01 squared is 4.0401 times 10 to the powers up high. You multiply, you get to the 14th, negative. 4.8 divided by 6 is 0.8. It's going to end up being 0.8 times 10 to the 0 power, but it's too small by one spot, so we're going to make it 8 times 10 to the negative 1. Because prior to that was 0.8 times 10 to the 0. Too small by one spot, add 1. Oops, take away 1, take away 1, and you end up with that. And I would suggest you go ahead and do the reviews. I believe it starts on page, we have practice on page 18, and then your review starts on page 20.